My first time hearing about open relationship, it was really hard for me to wrap my head around it, mainly because I was used to the typical sneaky shit, and I couldn't understand that there was an ethical way of doing this.
When he asked me if I ever had a threesome, and in my head I'm like, oh no, he wants another woman, like all the triggers just like went on, and I was like, ew, no. His next question was like, what about you and two guys? And I was like, oh, okay.
It was cool because we met a lot of really cool people. The kind of open relationship we have is swinger.
It's great to be at this point where you can, see your partner getting pleasured and get aroused, and you're like, yeah, I'm here for you. It's amazing.
And yeah, it's cool being able to fuck other people.
All right. Welcome to another episode of Both Sides of the Bed.
Welcome.
Today, we have a highly anticipated episode, highly requested, because everywhere we go, the people want to know. About our open relationship.
Ooh, yeah.
Oh, you know. They don't want to know who we are. They want to know who we are. They want to know what we into.
So we tell them.
This is BSOTB. So that's what we're going to talk about today. All about open relationships. What they are, how to go about them, the good, the bad, the sexy. All things under the sun when it comes to opening that thing up. Yes, opening that thing up.
Open that thing up.
But before we get into that, let's open things up with a sex fact.
Today's sex fact is, many research studies have demonstrated a strong link between a good sex life and a happy overall relationship. Sexual satisfaction contributes to relationship satisfaction. One study found good sex can even offset the negative effects of communication problems in a relationship. Furthermore, having less sex than you wish you were having can make a relationship less stable and increase the likelihood of a breakup. All that being said, how important sex is in any given relationship and what frequency of sex is considered satisfactory really depends on the individuals involved. Some people aren't that interested in sex and they don't particularly need it to have a happy relationship. What is important is that you and your partner can talk about what each of you want from your sex lives, acknowledging any discrepancies, and find ways to make both people's needs being addressed.
I like this sex fact for many different reasons. I guess it kind of confirms why things have gone the way they've gone for us. We've dealt with our challenges. The fact that our sex life is just so bomb.
Yeah.
It allowed us to, push through, and maybe communication and other things weren't the strongest, which I think in the short term can be great. If you keep on having great sex with your partner, you might be able to withstand a few storms that you might not have been able to prior to that, but it's not a long lasting solution.
No, it's not a sustainable solution, but it does really help when you are having those rocky moments so that there still is some way to connect with one another and there's a way to just kind of come back to the relationship. I think for us, it's always just been a really fun, healing place to go to, and it just kind of helps us to clear the air, clear our heads, I was about to say clear our nut sacks, and move
clear
forward.
Those too.
I don't have a nut sack, I swear. But to just push forward and, go into the conversation with a more clear mind and be able to just meet mutual understanding.
Yeah, definitely. And I think it's very interesting that they pointed out how different people have different sex drives, different desires centered around sex. And I think that's a great segue into, talking about what open relationships are and the benefits of them. And we'll touch on it in a second, but just the fact that, hey, maybe one partner in a relationship might just not want as much sex as the other partner. Yeah. Instead of there being conflict there, which can easily happen, obviously, maybe a solution for you would be to possibly open things up to have another partner to where your partner can be satisfied in those moments when you're not necessarily interested in having sex with them. So I really liked it for that as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And also just like, not just the frequency of sex, but also the type of sex you're wanting, it just might not vibe with your partner. Or maybe there's just like a different level you want to go that you can't go with your partner. So having another partner you can go there with, I think is just really cool.
Yes, absolutely. And we're going to break down all the benefits again. We're going to break down all the good, the bad, and the sexy when it comes to open relationships. But let's start at the beginning. Let's just talk about what an open relationship actually is. So what is an open relationship to you when you think about it?
Like the definitions I have or my definition?
Either one.
Okay, well, I think that an open relationship is just kind of, I like that because I feel like it's just like this blanket statement of whatever you want to open it up to. So it could be you want to open it up romantically or just sexually or both. Whatever it is, it's kind of open to have any type of parameter in it that just fits that couple and that fits their boundaries, their needs, and their desires.
Right. I think like in its most general sense, it's opening up other possibilities outside what's possible with a monogamous relationship in whatever capacity that means. Because people automatically take open relationship to polyamory or swinging or whatever the case is. And yes, those are definitely forms of open relationships, but there's a million different ways to go about an open relationship. And it's not so much about the titles and the specifics of trying to figure out which category you fall into, but it's really about having that communication with your partner, learning how to have the conversation and figure out what style works for y'all and what y'all rules are going to be and what y'all boundaries are going to be. I feel like that's the most important part of it. But, you know, it does help to have some general structure around it, so you at least know overall, okay, we're delving into this version of it, and then you can kind of customize it to make it your own. So
it's like build a relationship.
Yeah, instead of build a bear, you build a relationship. Now, the biggest term I've heard for open relationships, you know, I love it. It's called ethical non-monogamy. And basically, the premise of it is both partners or all the partners are agreeing to open things up in a sexual or intimate way with other partners ethically. Now, the reason why I have such a strong opinion on it is, yes, absolutely, ethical non-monogamy, it's great. I'm not going to sit here and try to say in any way that you shouldn't be ethical. My whole thing is just adding another title unnecessarily, because I feel like ethical is, of course it's ethical. It's kind of a given. If it's a non-monogamous relationship, you and your partner are agreeing, you're going to do this ethically, or else it's just cheating. So I don't feel the need for the extra word
I feel like
there necessary.
If somebody was like, yeah, I'm in a non-monogamous relationship, I would assume it's an ethically non-monogamous relationship. I'm not going to assume, oh, so you're just cheating on this person.
Right. Or
then that's just cheating.
Just say that. Oh, yeah, I'm cheating on my partner. That's another thing. Yeah. So I don't knock anybody for adding that E to it. Me personally, I just don't think it's necessary. There's a lot of acronyms. There's a lot of terms when it comes to lifestyle shit in general. There's so much shit to learn. So it's like, why add this other one to it? But hey, whatever floats your boat. Because the general thing is ethical non-monogamy is good. It's good. And we celebrate that.
It's ethical.
It's ethical. It's ethical. And it requires a lot of communication. Obviously, we speak on it all the time. High levels of communication. But is it really more communication than you would need in a monogamous relationship?
I don't think you need it more. I think it's needed equally. But in this research study that I was reading earlier, it was actually talking about how levels of communication, levels of trust, and levels of, I forgot the other one, but we're higher in consensually non-monogamous or ethically non-monogamous relationships because I assume because you're opening up your relationship to so many different parameters, there's so much room to fail that you kind of just have to talk more. So there is more communication that just kind of naturally happens, but that doesn't mean that there needs to be more than in a monogamous relationship. You need communication equally in both.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Okay, so let's break down a few different ways of going about it. And again, there's a million ways under the sun. We encourage you to do your research to see what style fits you, but we're going to just talk about just some of the basics, and you can kind of take it from there. So you have I would say what I first got introduced to as an example of an open relationship is swinging.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when I first got into the lifestyle, I started to go to play parties, aka sex parties. There was a lot more sex happening back in those days. But it's about a decade ago now. And I would go, but I would always call them swinger parties. So I would go, there would be a lot of couples there, but I would always go as a single male. So I would go and I would interact with these couples. And, you know, and through our interactions, you know, a lot of times I would end up playing with the wife and having the conversations with the husbands and learning kind of why anybody would ever be open to this. Because at that time I was maybe, you know, 21, 22, and I just could not fathom why the fuck would somebody let me fuck their wife. I couldn't understand.
Yeah.
I'ma do it, but I couldn't understand why you would like that. But you know, and we'll go into kind of etiquette around it too. But I just could not understand, like, why would somebody, you love this person, you care about this person, like, why would you want somebody else to have sex with them? And through having these conversations with a lot of the husbands, both couples, but I really wanted to know why the husband wanted it. And I got a lot of different answers. I remember one of the first times I went out, I guess on a date with a couple, and I went to go use the bathroom, and then the husband just went at the same time or whatever, and we just at the sink washing our hands, and he's like, you know what? You know, you're cool, man. I really like doing this open relationship thing, you know, and I like inviting dudes in because, you know, I got a small dick and, you know, I want my wife to be satisfied. And when he said that, I was like, God damn, well, I respect the hell out of you for that. This is a little guy too. He was actually like a horse jockey. So he was like 5'3" or 5'4", very little dude. But it made sense. It's like he knows where his limitations are and he knows how much he loves his wife and he wants to satisfy her. So that was reason enough for them to open things up in that way.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's really awesome. I think that just having that self-awareness too, I think it's just so important that you have some type of self-awareness and some type of reasoning and purpose behind why you're opening up your relationship. Because I think otherwise we get caught up in just more is more and pleasing your other partner that we lose why we're doing it for ourselves. So I think that's really cool that person is self-aware in that space. I do have a definition that I found for swinging. I know that you didn't really like it, but I'll share it anyway. Mm-hmm. It says a swinger is a person who lives the swinging lifestyle or just the lifestyle. Swinging in the context of social relations means having multiple sexual partners with the aim of improving the quality or quantity of sex. Yeah.
I agree. It's that all of that is part of it. I just feel like it's incomplete, and at the core of it, it doesn't really substantiate the focus in swinging. And for me, swinging is couples who connect and decide to swap partners.
Yeah, that's what I always thought it was too.
So it could be a husband and wife or a wife and wife, husband and husband, and y'all decide, hey, me and my partner, we would like to swap with y'all. So y'all swap in a sexual interaction. Well, it could be sexual or not sexual.
Maybe
y'all just like to go hang out and I don't know, go hiking on the weekends. That's still part of swinging, but you're able to interact with another couple on a more intimate level than just platonic friends. You know, so that at its core is what it is. And there's a lot of events centered around swinging couples. And I thought it was all swinging, but like as a single male, I don't fully feel like you could be swinging because you don't have a partner that you're bringing into the mix as well. It's a different thing when you have a partner that you're sharing when somebody else has a partner they're sharing.
Yeah.
You got more skin in the game. Yeah, and it's a group thing now.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's the only thing I would want to add to that. All of that is true. I just feel like at its core, the main thing to realize it's a swapping of couples or sharing of couples.
Yeah, and we have not gotten into that. And we've talked about it, like, you know, opening up to different couples. And I don't know, the more and more I think about it, I just get less interested in it. I think, because I'm just not really interested in another guy. And that just goes into, you know, the whole swinging thing. So unless we have a fine-ass lesbian couple, that would be ideal for me.
I'd be more, because when we first talked about it, just bringing anybody in, it was like, all right, well, we're going to bring, well, we're bringing in women. So it's like, are we going to bring a single male or are we going to bring a couple in? And I always felt like the route that made more sense for us, at least, was a couple. Yeah. And just
the reasons you were just saying is there's more skin in the game.
Yeah, there's more skin in the game. I feel like men will be more respectful and more attentive and just show up better when they have their partner also that's involved in the situation. I feel like it's an easier way to ease into it in that way, and make some friends out of it. I just feel like it's different. Single men typically do move differently in the lifestyle than a man in a couple. And I just feel like that was a better way for us. It's something I'm still open to.
I'm still open to it too. It's just, I don't know, the more I it's just not something that I'm interested in the moment.
Yeah, we're good right now. But
yeah.
I will probably bet any amount of money that when we do open things up, where there's a man involved, that it will probably be that route.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it'll probably be that route.
They have to be just a bomb couple, like good energy, could probably be friends outside of it, but like outside of that, I just don't really, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't really see it for me in the moment.
Yeah, no, we're good when it comes to that. And also things to consider, making sure that you don't go into it with, all right, I know my partner really wants this, so I'll do this for them.
Yeah.
I don't particularly like the other person in the couple, but you're taking one for the team. That's a big no-no.
Yeah.
Taking one for the team and just having sex with somebody for the sake of your partner, because your partner is feeling that other person in the couple, but the one that you're supposed to be playing with, you're not really feeling so much. Nah, that can cause so many problems. You can end up resenting your partner. Y'all could be in the midst of getting it going. Your partner can be loving it. You over there with a partner you're not satisfied with, and you just look over and just, I couldn't even. I would hate that feeling.
Yeah.
We would have issues for a little while after that.
And I feel like it's also just unfair to the other couple as well, because they have to soak up that energy too, and they have to. Maybe even if that person, like say I'm not interested in the person that I'm playing with, but they were interested in me, they might walk away feeling uncomfortable, not even realizing why, and thinking it's something that they did, or just like feeling awkward and just like walking away from the experience, and that can cause turmoil in their relationship just because, I wasn't honest. So it's so important for everybody when you're coming in, because it's not just you on the line, it's not just you and your partner on the line, but it's a whole other couple that has their own problems that you have knowing nothing about. And you just have to be really respectful and really honest in that. Just that we're all human, we all have feelings, and it's rather just be honest and have that awkward conversation, like, I think you're a great person, but I'm just really not interested in moving forward with this, and stop it there rather than waiting till somebody's balls deep into somebody. It's just not that.
Yeah.
It's not worth it.
Yeah, it definitely comes with the territory. It's something that you may have to do at some point as you interact with people in that way. But I think just being clear as a couple, we're not going to settle in that way. Yeah. And drawing that line in the sand will help you significantly, actually.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
So yeah, when it comes to swinging, I would say if swinging is something that you're interested in any capacity and meeting up with other couples, I would definitely recommend going to events.
Yes.
You can find events many places, depending on where you're located. We're in New York, so it's really easy out here to find swinging events. But the first website I ever went on, it's kind of ancient now, but it still works. It's called swinglifestyle.com. So check them out. You can make a couple's profile on there and communicate with couples and just learn and learn about what that's all about and see what makes sense for you. FetLife is also an amazing resource for many of things, but you can definitely find couples there as well. And on both websites, they post events. So you can go to events in your area and meet with other people. Again, no pressure ever in any situations to do anything, but you can go and have conversations with other couples, figure out why they decided to get into swinging or any other alternative open relationship styles. So both of those are great resources when it comes to that. Nice.
And so the other thing that's under the umbrella of open relationships is polyamory, which I think a lot of people, like when we've been interviewed or just asked about, people just kind of clump us into we're in a polyamorous relationship. And we're not.
Yeah.
It's just not really our thing. It's very open. Yeah. I also just love the mystery, the vagueness, the broadness of open. Mm-hmm. And I think polyamory is just a little more fine-tuned, I don't want to say constrained, but it's a clear definition, which I'll share now. Polyamory is a type of open relationship that enables people to have more than one intimate relationship at a time with the consent and knowledge of everyone involved. So I think that's a little... I don't think that fully defines polyamory. I think it's more so like everybody knows about everybody, and it's like, I don't know, I feel like poly is almost endless. It's like you can have a partner that has a partner that's with a couple that's just completely different from our relationship, and then I can have a partner who also has a partner and I'm with that partner as well. Then we can have this one partner together, and they have partners that are different from our other partners, and it's just like this
because now we're talking
triad
about
of things.
Yeah, because now we're talking about relationships.
Exactly.
So it goes beyond a sexual encounter or just hanging out with somebody. Now there's a lot of more layers. It's a whole ecosystem that you can create, because it's intimacy. It's really getting to learn about people. It's maybe adding other people into your actual relationship and say, hey, you're our boyfriend or girlfriend. Do this with us now. You're really welcoming others into your relationship, and that's the biggest difference. And that's why we don't consider ourselves poly in that way, because we haven't had any of our partners, I guess, be even in our relationship, even though, and that kind of can come off like harshly, I guess you could say, but it's not balanced in that way. And we've set it that way so that, you know, we can reserve that space for us so that we can continue to grow as partners together, you know, but you know where I stand with it, where I'm open to growing to that place at some point.
I'm open to it too, which is why we have an open relationship.
Right.
And which is why I like that term, because we're open to growing. And if we go there and we're like, you know what, this isn't for me, I'm also open to digressing. And I just love the freedom in that, and figuring out, you know what, we found this person, and the vibes are there, the energy's there. I can see us growing together, you know, building a family and doing that whole thing. I'm just not there yet. We haven't found that yet. So that idea of it doesn't match us in the moment. So, but yes, I am open to it. I also think that with polyamory, it's like there's more with it. It's something that we haven't experienced. It's just like the falling in love, the meshing of relationship, which you were saying earlier about there hasn't been someone who's been like equating to the love and relationship that we share. And in the lifestyle, there's something called the hierarchy. So, which I think is a little rough.
It's strong words.
It's really aggressive. But with the hierarchy, like if we were in a polyamorous relationship, we would be considered the primary partners. Yeah. So we have primary partners where it's like we have a life together, we have children together, we share finances, and it's like this is, you know, my main squeeze. And then we have like secondary partners where it's like the intimacy might be the same, the love might be the same, the sex might be the same, but the amount of involvement in the day-to-day life is not the same.
Yeah, and it can get intricate because you can have rules established where, okay, let's say we get in an argument one day, but we have a secondary partner. You might have rules where we don't talk to our secondary partner about what's been going on with us. But some people might set it up where, hey, we're all even. If we fight, then they should know about it because everyone needs to know what's going on in this relationship, and it's full transparency across the board. Everyone knows everything about everything, and that's cool too if that works for you. But there's just so, when it comes to polyamory specifically, there's a million ways to go about it. We're definitely not going to touch on all that today, but please, if that's something that you're interested in, do your research because it's a lot of fun. There's a lot of opportunity in that, and I think that more people would be surprised at how interested they may potentially be in some version of a polyamorous relationship.
Yeah, and I think it could be really helpful when there is an argument because then you have like a sounding board to bounce off of. One that's not biased on one end versus the other, but is just like neutral and wanting the best for everybody. So I think that could be really helpful. I think it could be really helpful to just kind of share. And also, I think it's really fun when it's like someone knows that person, like that person that you're arguing with enough where you can be like, okay, I can see them doing that. And then you can even like bond in that sense of like, yeah, they do that and that's really annoying, but also be able to take you out of that. It's just like, but they might be doing this because this is going on, because there's this deeper level that they also know about you. So it gets you out of that, like, why the F would they do this? Da, 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 da. And it's just like, okay, they probably did this because they have this going on. And I think it could help diffuse an argument a lot faster.
And that's part of what appeals to me about being in a poly relationship, and what, why I'm curious about it, just to be able to have another person that I can bounce things off of. Maybe we are dealing with some challenges. Having someone where it's okay to talk about you to them, to maybe help me work some shit out, who also knows you very well, intimately, in the same way that I do. I just feel like there's something magical about that. Or even when things are going good, just that we could talk about you together and know what being with you feels like.
Yeah.
I really enjoy that. And I feel like just having another personality, another energy in the mix just keeps things interesting and exciting.
Yeah.
Fun fact, we were at Home Depot last summer, and we were outside. We were in like picking up some plants or whatever. And there was this interracial couple that were walking down the aisle or whatever. And I think they were pushing a stroller. And it was a really nice couple. They're just real wholesome, just really nice looking couple. Just felt really good on a Sunday afternoon. They're doing their thing. And so they walk down the aisle, and then all of a sudden, this other woman kind of walks from out of the aisle holding a baby. And then they all just walked together down the aisle, and it was very clear they were all together.
And one of them was pregnant.
And then one was pregnant. So it was like, clearly this is a whole family thing happening here.
Yeah.
And I just got so excited in that moment, like, yo, I could see that for myself. Like, I like that. I like that. In its biggest form, the most fully realized version of polyamory for me would be us with probably just one other partner. I don't see us having 2 or 3 or more, like the main partners. Maybe we'll have some other partners in the mix, but like another primary, one other partner, and we do the whole family thing together, have a few kids between the two of y'all, kind of living together, and we just have our whole little community in a nice big house here in Brooklyn, and just everybody just doing their thing together. The kids.
It's funny, like I share that with you. I just know my face just looked crazy.
Yeah.
But I share that with you. But I don't know, just the thought of just multiple rugrats running around just always makes me itch.
But
though I want multiple children.
Think about it. We have a whole nother person to help with them now.
And a nanny.
We haven't really started talking about the nanny. But yes, and the nanny. But just that we have another person. Like, think about how beautiful that would be. We want to have a date night. We have a kid, but we also have another partner. Maybe they have another child or not. And we leave our child with our other partner so that we can go out on a date, but it's fine. Yeah. And then maybe the next week, y'all two go out on a date and I watch the kids, or whatever the case is. Like, how beautiful that could be.
Yeah.
And how unorthodox that is. I'll bet anything less than 10% of couples in the United States do this. And I just feel like it provides so much
4%.
opportunity. It's 4% actually? Well, there you go. 4%. That ain't shit. But imagine just how easier relationships can be and marriages can be if they were to figure out other ways of doing it. Having other people, like I said, it takes a village to raise a child. Maybe you don't have a whole village, but you got your other polyamorous partner. That might be good enough.
And I think that a lot of people hear it and they think, this is a whole other mind, a whole other heart, like more emotions, more conversations to have. And it just like makes it more complex. And it does. It 1000% makes it more complex. But complexity doesn't mean difficulty. And I think there's so much beauty in finding the balance in it all, and finding the joy in it and making it work so it's just beneficial for everybody, so that it is this well-oiled machine that everybody is looking for. And I think it could be really fun. I think it would be fun for kids growing up together and meshing well, even if it's just, if we're all in the same home, if it's a multi-family home where it's like we each have our own level, but we can come together and congregate in the living space. Whatever it is, I think that it could be really beautiful if done right with proper communication.
And let's be honest, at the end of the day, all relationships are complex in one way or other. There's a bunch of things to consider. There's a bunch of challenges in any relationship worth it. So how different really is this? Sure, there might be some new things to navigate and work through, but I just see the benefits on the other side far exceeding the challenges.
No, absolutely. I agree. I think that there's always, like you said, there's always a challenge to face. And it's just like, you have to figure out what are your boundaries. Like, what is the absolute no for you? What is something that you can work through? And what is just like, okay, this is easy. And once you figure out those things, then I think it's easier to navigate any type of relationship, whether it's just you and one other person, you and 5 other people, or you and just 2 other people, whatever you want to do. Figure out what your boundaries are. This is a hard no for me. If being in a relationship with a man that has multiple kids and multiple wives is a hard no for you, polyamory is not for you, sis. So it's just like, you got to figure out what works for you and what doesn't. And just be honest about that. And just because your partner is really desiring that, then figure out, okay, is this something that I'm doing to appease you? Is this something that if I don't do, this means that we can't work out? Or is it something that you'd like, but you don't need? It's like, you have to have those conversations with your partner and be honest with yourself and be honest with each other to figure that out.
Yeah, no, that's for sure. And when I think about it, we lightly dabbled, got half a toe in maybe of the feel of polyamory with, a partner. Just in the sense that, like, there was genuine feelings there.
Yeah.
Like, we genuinely care. I mean, we care about our partners, but like, there was genuine romantic feelings starting to brew.
Yeah.
And for the first time, when we started pulling out the books, watching the videos, so we could really learn just what possibilities are available. And just with that little taste of it, I knew, like, okay, yeah, I can really see this for us. But also, we saw where the challenges were in having to deal with another person. And, like, for instance, like, if we got into an argument, how do we still deal with them but not talk about what's going on with us? Like, how do we work through all of that?
Yeah, and it was really hard because they were a really intuitive person, so they could just feel if a pencil dropped.
Right.
So just like hiding it or just not addressing it was also just not working as well.
Right.
So yeah, but it was definitely a good taste. It was really fun, a really bountiful experience, and I think it really helped us figure out, like, kind of where we want to see things going.
Right.
With all these damn kids.
I do want a few kids, you know what I'm saying?
That's all you.
I'm trying to make it easy for you.
Like, I just want 2, and then, like, the rest is yours.
I could do 4 kids between 2 partners. We already got 1. So
Yeah. 5 kids.
I could do 2. Yeah, I could do 2 with you and 2 with one other.
That's all good for you.
I could do that. Because then probably on top of that, we'll probably still have another partner or 2 that's around, in the mix. And it's great. It's great. Yeah.
Yeah, I just want 2. You can have as many as you like, but just know only 2 is coming from me.
That's all I need. That's all I need. That's all I need. So stay tuned. We'll have updates for you.
I am not pregnant.
She's not pregnant.
I'm not.
Not that, but just I'm saying, stay tuned. We'll let you know how our poly journey evolves over time. So we touched on those 2. Now let's just talk about in general the good about being in, I guess, each version of these open style relationships. So actually, before we get into that, I want to know what appealed to you about, or what appeals to you about being open. What do you enjoy about being in an open relationship? And why did you decide that was for you?
What appeals to me about it the most, I think the biggest thing was just being bisexual and wanting to explore my bisexuality, wanting to explore women. I've only been with one woman prior to being with you. So I didn't really have the fullness that I wanted. I didn't have the relationships and the experiences that I really wanted to have, because I realized that I was gay so late in life. Not so late, I was 20, but for me, it was just like, I met you at 25. So it just took a minute for me to just be like, oh, like, this is actually something that I'm really interested in. This is something that really resonates with me and feels good for me. So I knew once I met you, I was just like, oh, this is it. Like, gay life is over. And then it wasn't.
Feel like that? Though? I'm curious, because I was very clear from the jump. Hey, you can activate on your bi-ness.
This is before we had, like, that actual conversation.
Okay. The beginning.
This is very, very early on. but I did have that thought of just like, oh, like I don't think that I'll be able to explore women the way that I've always desired to. And I kind of felt like the only way that I would be able to would be strictly sexually. Like if we had a threesome or something like that. So, which I was fine with, but I just always wanted more. So when we started talking about open relationships, it really just, it made sense for me. 'Cause then I was able to have the best of both worlds. I was able to activate on the duality of my sexuality.
That's a really good point. That's an excellent reason to open your relationship up if you are someone who is bisexual, where you don't have to give up your desire for a particular sex. You can have both sides. Yeah, you can have your cake and eat it too. Here's a situation where you can have your cake and eat it too. That's great. That's
yeah,
great.
It is great. What about for you?
For me, I guess, you know, I've been really out here doing my thing sexually for a while now. And I think once I started going to the parties and just learning how much this world of sex can award us, and just how much exploration and how much opportunity to be my fully sexualized self there is, it scared me to think I would have to stifle that to just be with one person, where I'd be limited now to only being able to experience them. And it's beautiful being able to experience deep connection with one person and having that commitment and growing and
that intimacy, that vulnerability. Yeah,
with that one person. It's beautiful. There's nothing to take away from that. And I just know I'm a very curious person. I'm a very explorative person. And I want to be able to explore. Very horny person. And I want to be able to explore different tastes. It's like I love mac and cheese. That's my favorite food. I love it. Nothing's ever going to probably change that. But I also love many other foods. Pizza's high on that list of things. I love cheesecake. I love all kinds of foods. So why should I only be eating mac and cheese for the rest of my life because I love it and we have a nice thing going? No, I want to try everything else the buffet has to offer. Well, not everything, but I want to try some things the buffet has to offer.
Yeah.
So that's why it made sense for me. And again, that don't mean I want to fuck everybody, but I like the option to be able to, you know, find what we like together. Yeah.
And I think that's also why I fell in love with it so quickly with you, because it was something that we did together. It's something that we do together. Because another form of open relationships is where you have your relationships and I have mine. And it's like we open up, but separately. And that has its place, and I'm sure that we'll end up there at some point. But right now, we do it together, and it's a way that we can really bond, in a way that we could really just explore. And it's so cool. And this is kind of like one of the second points of what's so good about it is that homie aspect. Like we get to be like friends and flirt with somebody else and be on the prowl and find someone and just, you know, bask in like how hot they look, or see a great ass walking down the street and just go crazy about how good it looks and laugh about it. And it's just fun, and it's easy, and it's very free.
Yeah. That first time we were driving down the street and I saw an ass I really liked but didn't say anything, knowing that, you know, we were going to venture down this road, but still it being very new, but me appreciating the ass, but then you commented on it first. It's like, oh, this is okay. I like this. Yeah, I like that ass too. And we were able to just laugh and enjoy it together. It's so freeing because there's so many dudes out there that got a side eye look all the time and just can't appreciate another person. It's deemed as disrespectful, or that you don't love your woman the same way because you looking at somebody else. There are millions and millions and millions and millions and millions of people in this country and in the world. And for you to require your partner to only have eyes for you, that don't even make any kind of logical sense. The math ain't mathing with that. It's just, you got two eyes and a million options on where to lay them.
Yeah.
You know? So be free, y'all. Be free.
Yeah, I just think it's fun. I think it makes it more human, more honest. Because like you said, there's just so many things to look at, and it's fun to look at those things. It's also fun to be the only thing to be seen. But that also has its place.
Yeah. And it's like, be respectful. You know, be respectful. Don't wild out. Don't abuse it either.
Yeah.
Don't abuse it. Still be tactful, still be classy, and still show your person how much you love and appreciate them. Don't neglect them for the sake of the fact that you have access to more.
Yeah.
Still keep your priorities in check. Still make sure you're taking care at home, you know, but when you have the opportunity to go out, do your thing, do your thing. So let's go over some of the positives about being in any form of open relationship. Number one for me is the newness, the excitement of that new. That new. Because just be honest, there's nothing that replicates the experience of meeting somebody new and having a really good interaction and that whole process of getting to know somebody and then having some bomb-ass sex with them. There's just nothing that duplicates that initial rush of excitement that you get.
New relationship energy. It's a really beautiful phenomenon. And I love it because when we have that with someone else together, it's like I get to experience new relationship energy with you. But in a very just different way, like in a way that you flirt with someone else, in a way that you are like trying to see if the vibe is there, or trying to get them back to our place and like see if we can, you know, have some sex or whatever it is. It's just like the type of flirting you do is just very different from the way that you flirt with me, because the way you flirt with me is just like, it's more mature in a way. Not like I don't want to say like mature like it's older, but it's like it's grown with us, you know. And it's just like we have our flirty thing that we do, this back and forth, and it's just very different when you're, you know, trying to catch a new fish. So
Right.
it's just very different. So to witness that is really fun. To witness you get excited about someone else, to witness you talk about someone else, and when we're going back and forth texting them and like we're talking about the conversations we had with that person, it's a fun experience.
Yeah. I liked initially when we were learning what our type is.
Yeah,
because luckily our types are very similar. There's not many within our range of types that we don't agree on.
Yeah.
So it was really dope to like, oh yeah, she like exactly the type of women I like, and vice versa. So it made finding them a lot easier. We're so bonded and we're really such a unit. Yeah, it's like when we're going on a new journey with a new person, we're doing it as one. So it's always this new thing happening together. Yeah, it's just, there's nothing like that.
Yeah.
It's nothing like new pussy, y'all. Let's just keep it real. It's nothing like new pussy. It's nothing like new pussy. Because there's a phenomenon I talk about all the time, the new pussy phenomenon, where you can have amazing sex with a partner many a times, 100 times. It could be great, A1, creme de la creme. And you can have a new partner with average, very average vagina, but it somehow gets pushed up to a level maybe very close to the phenomenal pussy that you're used to having. And it's just nothing, it's nothing more than it's new, it's exciting, and there's something behind that. And I love it. I love it. Yeah.
You do love new pussy.
I do. Now, in addition to that, you get to have new experiences. Maybe pick up a few things from a new partner that you haven't experienced before together.
Yeah.
You know, just learn through new things, new ways of having sex, new just feelings when you are bonding with somebody in that way. Because sometimes it's just an energetic exchange. And just having that keeps things fresh. It keeps things exciting.
Yeah.
It keeps us evolving and wanting to learn more, because we kind of geeked out off this sex thing. If you haven't noticed, we just love talking about it and doing it. So having another partner to be able to add to our bag, I love that.
Yeah, and also just another thing that I really love about it is, and it sounds weird just because the verbiage, but like the sisterhood that I get with just like the new partners that we have, it's just amazing. It's like it's a very different type of friendship and a different type of bonding, because I'm also sleeping with them and they also sleep with my man. But I don't know, I've learned so much about myself and about how I want to evolve as a woman, and just also about life. Like, one of our partners is this dope ass environmental scientist. You know who you are. And I just learned so much about so much. And they just geek out on this stuff, and it's just so cool to learn from someone and to be cared about by that person, and for them to care about you equally. It's just a lot of fun.
Yeah.
A lot of growth happens.
Yeah. And in addition to that, I think I touched on it a little earlier, it awards the opportunity for you to take a break or allow somebody who may be able to offer things that you're incapable of or just not interested in providing to your partner, maybe to take care of some needs that you just can't or don't want to fulfill based on whatever your desires are. It may allow that other person to be able to come in and feel in that space. You know, you got to be secure in your relationship to be able to handle that. That's why you want to make sure you and your primary partner are good before venturing into any form of open relationship. But once you establish that y'all are rock solid in that way, yeah, I think it's good to have somebody that can come in and do certain things. Like you have very feminine qualities about yourself that I love, and you'll sit here and try to talk to me about the latest Fenty this, or about how excited you are about some new nail polish or some new nail style that you got. I can only meet you with so far. It's like, okay, yeah, that's great, yay.
I was telling you something the other day, and I was so excited. After I said, I looked at your face. It's like, wow, you don't give a flying fuck
I didn't.
about what I'm saying.
Love you.
And we just laughed. It was so funny because it's so true. Yeah.
You should be able to go with our other partner and talk about all that. Have fun. Go to Sephora. Do your thing. I don't want no parts of that. You know, so to be able to have somebody that we just slide you on over there, do your thing. I'll at you in a couple hours. I love that. It's great.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then on the flip side, we be having really long nights of sex sometimes. You know, you like to go to sleep at some point.
I do.
And sometimes my sex drive is very high. And instead of forcing you to keep going more and more rounds.
Sounds so aggressive.
I'm just saying, instead of, you know, basically forcing you to have to do more.
It's not a force.
I'm just saying, you might be tapped out, and I'm like, I gotta get you.
I'll muster up the strength and the energy, but it does take a mustering up.
Right. But instead of having to make you do that, we can just have another partner come in and tap in, you know?
But it doesn't happen that way because your drive is so crazy. You'll go to this other person, come back to me, wake my ass up for more sex.
At least you got a break. Yeah. Break.
Thank you.
Water breaks. Open relationships provide water breaks. There you go.
Nap breaks.
Naps.
So 1 minute nap breaks.
There you go.
I love my breaks. Thank you. The last thing for the good that I really, really love, and I was talking to a friend about this recently, it's the power play that comes into opening up your relationship and sharing your partner. And not like the power play that we get into with our DS dynamic, but the power in allowing the sharing of your partner and to just kind of stand back and just witness the play session that's happening and just kind of like knowing like, at any moment, if I felt uncomfortable or if I needed something to stop, I could say so and it would. And my partner would prioritize me and my comfort and shift in any way that I needed or asked. And that also just dictates the pleasure that that third person is having, that pleasure that you are having, or the pleasure that I am having. And I think that, I don't know, I think it's such a lustful thing. I think it's just really hot and really sexy and a little manipulative.
So you get off on that a little bit.
I do. I absolutely do. The power of it to just kind of feel like the conductor of a situation and just knowing like, I control this.
Right.
And I allow this. And the pleasure that y'all are receiving, I could be sitting in the chair just watching y'all just go at it.
Right.
But like knowing that like, y'all are only doing this because I'm allowing it.
Yeah.
It's so fucking hot. I love it.
That.
I love it.
I feel that. And we've had partners where they'll communicate to us that they're more interested in like really being a third in our mix and not necessarily trying to impose what their desires are or whatever their specific interests are, but they want to help facilitate what we want. You know, so they'll just want to accompany what we're doing and will allow themselves to just be a vessel for our pleasure in that way. I really like that shit where it's like consensually freeing themselves of being a part of it, and now we just kind of using them as a tool for our pleasure. I like when we have those kind of interactions.
Those are really fun.
Again, consensually. Don't just use somebody. But once they've given that right, have fun with it. Do your thing.
And on the flip side, being able to be conductors in somebody else's fantasy, because we have our own stuff that we do with each other, with other partners, and it's a lot of fun. And also just being able to fulfill somebody's fantasy or somebody's desire is just, it's so fun. And I think that also goes into like a power play for me as well, of just like, I just made your fucking dreams come true.
Right. Speaking of that, yeah, that's one of the main things I enjoy. It might be the main thing I enjoy. So whenever we have a new partner, I always ask them, like, what are their fantasies? Like, what are their deepest, darkest desires?
Yeah.
And I want to,
darkest, nastiest.
I want to know that shit, because I want to make that happen. I want you to have things you've always wanted to do but never have been able to before. But when you meet us, that shit happens, and you will forever remember us.
It happens, and it was an experience. Lighting was right, music was right, lube was ready.
Yeah, our fucking vibes are right. We know how to set the vibes when it comes to that. Yeah. So I really love that. That definitely is a nice ego stroke for me. I thoroughly enjoy
That's
that.
An ego stroke, yo. An ego fingering, an ego kiss, an ego everything. Ego fucking. Yeah. In a healthy place. Don't let your ego take over.
Yeah, there's a way you can just satisfy the ego a little bit. Yeah. We're all animals at the end of the day.
We're all animals at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Another thing that I really love about an open relationship and opening up our bedroom is the compersion. I think it's so hot and it's so fun. But let me tell the people what compersion actually is. So compersion, I have my term here. The term was coined by the polyamory community, and it is the empathetic state of happiness and joy spurred by another individual's experience of joy, happiness, and pleasure. Thus, it is often defined as the opposite of jealousy. This is the part that I love. It conveys to another person that we genuinely support them on their chosen path of well-being, and it depends on viewing other people as intrinsically autonomous and self-determined.
Yeah, it was weird. It's probably the only word I have for it. It was weird for me experiencing your compersion for me. It was like I couldn't trust it at first.
Oh.
Yeah, it was like, you really enjoy me going that hard with somebody? Like, I'm fucking him kind of hard. You're
harder.
You're sure? You want more?
Go harder.
I thought it was a trick, or like, I thought maybe this is like a coping mechanism you have to like deal with your feelings. Like, no, it's actually fine, and I love it. It's fine. I'm like, are you sure? I didn't trust it at first.
No,
I said,
it's actually fine, and I fucking love it.
It took a few parts to realize.
I had no idea.
It took probably like 3 or 4.
I had no idea.
Before I really was like, okay, she really loves that.
No, I get off on it.
I'm putting it down. Okay.
I can not be touched. And then we've had situations where I just wasn't touched because either I didn't feel like it or whatever happened. And I can just completely get off on you getting off. And it's like, I can come from it easily.
Yeah, me and you differ in that way. Because I thought, I'm like, do I have compersion? Do I enjoy it?
Do you?
I do enjoy it. I enjoy the certain faces that you make. When you're really happy, your eyes roll in the back of your head, and when you're just like stuck and your eyes are in the back of your head. I enjoy when a partner can make you feel like that. That's probably like the main thing. I like that, and I like how bubbly you get sometimes. Just excited, like a little girl, just excited to be in the presence of somebody else, and they just make you feel good.
Yeah.
Or when you take a very wholesome picture, looks like you and your other person have now homeowners in front of this house on the beach. You know, these little moments here, it's like, that's cute. I like it. I'm really glad you're happy right now. It makes me feel good. Turned on in the way that you are turned on, I'm probably not. It's not that there's anything wrong. I just don't necessarily get to that level. It's definitely not going to make my dick hard, specifically. But in the grand scheme of a whole experience, yeah, I love it. It's great.
Yeah, no. If I had a dick, it would be hard. And I have a pussy and it'd be wet. So
you do have a pussy.
No, I'm saying I do have a pussy and it be wet. But no, it's amazing. I think it's, I don't know what it is exactly. I think it's just, it's the pleasure. And I see the pleasure all over your face. I see your body language, especially when I see you like fucking harder. And I see my compersion getting you off.
Yeah, once I accepted that this is reality and that you are really actually my biggest cheerleader and you're encouraging me and you want to see more, I was able to free myself and really put my all into our sexual experiences with our partners. Yeah, it really puts the battery in my back. I will say that. To have your partner that supportive, like wanting you to do more, especially as a man, that's just not something that is normal for us to experience, that our female ladies, women, partners want to experience from us. That's not the norm. So to feel that full support, yeah, that really elevated the sex to another level.
Yeah, no, I think it's just the thought of it is getting me horny
right now. No.
But
do you remember the first one? The first time you felt it?
Yes.
What letter of the alphabet were they?
The environmental scientist.
That was the first time?
Yeah.
Huh. The first time that we were together?
Second.
At the house?
Yeah.
Was a massage table out?
No, I don't remember.
Okay.
You remember my experience where I just had this like super emotional and just ethereal experience?
Yeah.
It was that time.
Okay. Were there shrooms involved?
Always. There's always shrooms involved.
A lot of times it's like, yeah.
Shout out to you.
Yeah. It's like, okay, it was them.
Yeah.
Huh. Okay.
But, and I think I know that they also just added to it. Because I really like them and I really do still. And I trust them with you. So there was just like a layer that I could just peel back of like, I'm safe with them and they're safe with you and I can trust them with you. So then that way I was just able to release.
That's a big point.
It really is.
To find partners that make you feel that.
Yeah.
Like, it's one thing to feel safe. Okay, absolutely, that's important. Number one, you should feel safe and comfortable. But to have such a level of trust where you could leave for an hour and not ever feel like this person will try to weasel their way in any way or try to, impose their own agendas on the situation. Like someone you just trust and you just feel good with. When you all can just relax and be on the same page, it helps breed another level of experience.
Yeah, like I trust you alone with them. I trust them alone with you. I trust their thought process. I trust the way their neurons fire in their brain. And I think that's a beautiful thing. I don't trust a lot of people in that way. So, and that happened very early on. And I remember having this experience with them where I remember like we were having sex, you and I, and they were there, but they were standing like above me and they were like holding like my head in a way. It sounds awkward, but it was just like, it was just like touch. And I had one of the hardest orgasms of my life and I cried after.
I remember,
and they were just holding space for me to just feel and just be, and the both of you were. And it was just this experience where I feel like I shed a layer of myself and I literally felt like I was like emerging from a cocoon and becoming a butterfly. And I don't think I could have gotten there without their presence being there. And that was all within that night when I first experienced the compersion. And it was just the safety that I personally felt, the safety that I felt in sharing you, the pleasure that we had, the amount of laughter that we had. It was just one of the most beautiful experiences of my life where pleasure was just like the priority and just being human was the priority. And it was just like, there's nothing else. There were no bills. There were no dramas. There were no responsibilities. It was just like, let's be human. Yeah.
And it was seamless how they just kind of stepped in there. Like, it wasn't even, oh, well, this is a new experience. This is kind of weird. She's crying now. I don't really know her. Like, they really just fell right into that role, understood the assignment in that moment to just be there for you. And it was just all good.
Seriously. And anytime we talk about like, we've had our moments where we've brought all of our partners in and then decided like, let's not do that again.
We'll get to that in a little bit.
We'll get to that in a little bit. But when it comes to this specific person, we're just like, they're cool with it. It's fine.
Everybody.
As long as they're open, they can always come to the party. And that's never going to be an issue. And I think that goes back to that just initial level of safety that I felt with them, where it was just I know that they're good. I know that I'm good. And I know that if they're not good, they are going to not only say it, but articulate it in a way that is strong, smart, and necessary. And a lot of people can't do that. A lot of people can't do that specifically in relationships. And that's why I think a lot of relationships fail, because they can't articulate their boundaries or their needs. And this person can do that very effortlessly.
Yeah. You know, definitely. Shout out to you again.
Shout out to you. And I think one thing that shocked me is they're younger than I am. And it's very rare. Like, I've always been the person in the situation where I'm the youngest around the group. And like, I'm an old soul. So to find someone younger than me that I resonate with on that level, I've never had that before either.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, shout out to you.
So now let's get into some of the challenges, some of the things that you gotta look out for, because as beautiful as this can be, and as amazing as your experiences can be, there's always challenges with anything. Yeah. And this is no different. So what things do you see coming up as being some concerns to look out for?
I would say miscommunications, but specifically, I think miscommunications with us happens more rarely, but it's the miscommunication with the other partner. So it's like, we may be on the same page, but you may be on a different page than I am with them, if that makes sense. Or we might be on the same page, but they are on a different page, or we're on it. You know what I mean? It's just like, no matter which way you put it, there's just like some type of miscommunication involved. Yeah. I think that we're really good at communicating and that we're really intentional. And I think that our intentionality with our communication sometimes makes people feel uncomfortable, and it makes them not communicate their needs. It's more so that they're absorbing ours.
Right.
So.
Yeah, along that, when it comes to communication, I don't particularly like that, because we're together, or a lot of times when our partners experience us, we're together, that they lump us into this one person when we're two very separate people.
We are one bald black person.
Yeah, just this one baldy. And they feel like, oh, they tell you something,
so it means
the
that
message is supposed to be relayed, or I'm just supposed to absorb it in my brain because we're one.
It's so funny. We're such, I don't know the word, not secretive, but like when someone tells us something, it's like we hold it. We're not gossipy people.
Yeah.
Like, you know how people say, like, if I know, my partner knows. Yes, to an extent, but like, we're not like that. So it's like, just because you told me, I'm not gonna run and tell him.
Yeah.
And vice versa. So a lot of stuff has gotten lost in the sauce because they assumed you would know because I know, or vice versa.
We've had a few, maybe one or two like real issues surrounding that, where it's like playing telephone, where the message just gets lost in translation. And I think that's just something to be aware of when it's three. Let's just stay with three, because it's even crazier if you have 4 or 5 or 6. But even with 3 people, if the third person is communicating something to one of us, and it's important, they need to make sure they have a follow-up conversation with the other person to confirm that we are all on the same page. You just can't assume that because one knows, the other person knows. No.
And for me, especially if it's a deep, vulnerable conversation, I'm going to wait for them to share it with you before I speak to you about it, because I'm assuming they're coming to me with this from a vulnerable state. So I want to give them that respect of telling you first. I don't want to just say it to you and then, they feel uncomfortable because I broke that trust.
Right.
And as much as I love you and I respect you and you're my person, I have to respect their boundaries too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and vice versa. So
it doesn't change because we're together. Oh, you can tell me about their shit. Nah.
Yeah, no, that secret stays with me unless you tell me otherwise. Like, unless you say, please tell Ahmir, I'm not really, 9 times out of 10, I'm not going to share it.
Yeah. But in addition to that, I hate how we get lumped together, and like maybe we're always invited to things together, or our playtime is always together, when maybe I want to hang out with them by myself at this point. We've developed that relationship where it's just we're always together. And I experienced that a few times this past summer. We're just always together with our partners, and they're used to seeing us together. And I'm still my own individual self. And it got to the point where I would kind of lose myself in the usness of it. As much as I love us and I love how people can look to us as a unit, I think it's beautiful.
Yeah.
And I'm also still my own person, and I want to be able to identify as my own individual self in these spaces.
Yeah. I feel a little nervous sharing this, but like, I feel like my bi card is about to be revoked. I feel like in the usness of I feel so embarrassed sharing this. I don't feel embarrassed. This is my truth, and I'm okay with that. I feel like I got lost in depending on you for sex, like with our partners. So it almost became like foreplay, me having my sexual experiences with them, and it's just like I'll do the foreplay, and then you'll make them come. So then when you weren't around, it's just like I would get like in my head, like, can I make them come? Like, can I go like all the way? And women take a lot more time than men do. And the only time that I'm like consistently having sex with one person is you. So I'm just like, am I up for the challenge? And I was just really getting my head about it to the point where I was just like, I'm just gonna not. Or like I'll call you like, hey, can you come over?
Oh, to hang out with y'all?
Yeah.
'Cause you need some penis in the room?
Yeah, and which is bad. Not bad, but like.
But yes, I understand.
It's not necessary, and but I really got in my head about it, and it was like a real struggle for me. And then I started like talking about it more and being like, okay, like I want to be more intentional with this. And then I was like really honest with one of our partners, and saying like that was my truth, and yeah, it got easier, and we were able to just like play and explore and experience. So then I made them come, and it was just like, oh, like I got this shit.
You got it.
I know what to do.
I've been trying to tell you, you don't give yourself enough credit. You know what to do. I've been, laying out a couple things to consider, because you're not used to, I guess, being on the initiation side, because you're so beautiful and just, it all comes to you and all that kind of stuff. But yes, being on the initiation side. But that brings me to a point also where I felt, and still to this day still kind of do, feel like I got to do a lot of the work. It's like
finding new people.
Yeah, finding new people, establishing that first initial connection, having the conversations, getting to know them, and you're just doing whatever the fuck you're doing until it's time to present them to you. Then I gotta catch you up on what we've been talking about. I be trying to bring you into conversations. You'd be like, I'm good. Just let me know when it's time to meet up. And sometimes I don't like doing it all the time. Sometimes I would love if I'm just sitting on the couch watching my Knicks and you just tap me on the shoulder and show me something, hey, I found somebody you might like. We've been talking a little bit. They're into anal and they want to try a little bit of choking and they like these toys and that toys. They want to meet up on Thursday. Let's do that. I would love that.
That has never happened. I apologize.
Yeah,
I can definitely be better. That's actually one of my resolutions is, I don't know what it was. Like, I got COVID, not this past December, but December, 2021. And I don't know what in the COVID happened in my genetic makeup, but immediately after that, I became one of the worst communicators. And I used to pride myself on being like a good texter, a good communicator, all that. I am emails, DMs on Instagram, text messages. I literally have like 242 unread messages on my phone right now. I'm just so bad at it. And it literally happened after I had COVID. And not to blame COVID, because COVID is to blame for many a things. But I don't know what it was, but like, I think it's because I was sick and I just spent like this whole like 7 to 10 days just not being on my phone, not communicating with people, and I just never shook it. So, I don't know. I've been trying, I'm trying to shake that off, but I definitely, now that it's recorded and I have a whole audience on me now, I will definitely be more intentional about making connections and following up and setting dates. And I will wait till the next time you're watching the Knicks and I'll say, hey, I have this hottie who really likes anal and loves to be choked. And we're going to fuck them most likely on Thursday.
Yeah, because they're ready.
They're ready to go.
We can hop on that video chat.
Hop on the video chat.
I would love for you to surprise me. Hey, we have a video chat in 5 minutes with this beautiful Amazonian queen right here. And you just send me the picture and you just show me. I'm just like, really? 5 minutes? Okay, let's get ready. I would love that.
I got you.
I would love that. Also, just speaking of things I would love, I would love for us to be out and about at a bar or something like that, and you go bag something. Yeah, you go bag something for us and just bring them over and they sitting at the table with us and we just continue the conversation. I would love that. Because at this point, let's just keep it real. If it's somebody you like, you'll let me know and then I have to go do my thing and it's fine.
I'm just fine. Like, pretty privilege is the thing, you guys. I've never had to approach.
But I feel like
I've never really. I've always been approached. I've always been.
But when it comes to two women, though, is pretty privilege still a thing? Or I feel like that goes out the window.
It's not. But I've only been with one woman prior to you, so I've never had that deep of an experience. Mm-hmm. And then COVID happened, so it all became online.
I understand.
So I just haven't had the experience.
I understand.
But I can learn.
Yeah, I've been putting you on, how to do the whole thing.
You have, yeah.
Teaching
my game definitely got stronger.
Yeah. Cause it's a little exhausting at times, or I just feel like there might be additional experiences that we may have missed out on due to lack of effort on your half. Yeah. Whether it's from the apps or whether it's just out in real life. Like you showed me the chick that worked at the grocery store sent me a picture of everything. Like, yo,
you out me right now?
I'm just saying, she showed me a quick little picture like, yo, she's popping. I'm like, yo, you get her number?
I would have. She was working. It seemed like it was like her first day. Her boss was right there. I would have. There were parameters preventing me.
Okay. Well, I look forward to the day where you'll show me the picture. Like, yeah, yo, there was this popping ass girl that worked at the counter at the.
She was fine.
She was fine as hell. And then like, yeah, I got her number. Just following up with I got her number. She's free next Thursday. We could go do the meetup. That would warm my heart.
My gaydar is so on point up until the point that I need to get somebody's number.
Your gaydar is on point?
Up until that point. Then I'm just like, I don't fucking know.
Is gaydar more difficult between women, would you say? I don't know. I have no idea. It's more challenging? Because, at least like with men, there's a chance that you'll be able to figure out that there's a gay man. Gay men sometimes, a lot of times, are a little bit easier to spot than a gay woman. Or is that problematic, what I'm saying?
No,
it seems like that.
Some others say it's problematic, but I agree with you.
I think it's pretty accurate.
I think it's pretty accurate. I don't know. I think I've been right equal amount of times, depending on the sex, regardless of the sex. But yeah, but up until the point that I actually want to like holler at somebody or get somebody's number, it's just that gaydar goes out the window.
But the thing is, as a woman, you have a pass to be able to compliment a woman, even try to bag her, and at worst, she'll laugh it off, be flattered, and it's a great experience for the both of you. And you just move on. You have that luxury. What woman is going to be upset? You think I'm gay? I don't like women. And just be mad at you and like curse you out or something or want to fight you. That's never going to happen.
The internal awkwardness that one feels.
There might be a little bit of awkwardness, but it's still covered with
it is very
flattery. Like,
for women.
This woman thought I was attractive. She wants to eat my pussy. I'm not into women, but it's nice that she wants to eat my pussy. Yeah, you got the liberty. So use that shit. Activate for us, please.
I got you. I will do my best.
Thank you.
One thing about having an open relationship is there's a lot of people who have a lot of opinions.
A lot of opinions.
A lot of negative opinions. A lot of telling us what our relationship really means. How dare you be open? This isn't real. There's no love here.
Or what we should be doing. How we should operate our shit that makes the most sense in their mind based on...
That's not real love.
Right.
He doesn't love you.
Or I'm abusive. I'm manipulating you.
I'm broken.
I'm going to leave you in 3 years. So we're going to get into it in our new segment, which is called Opinions and Assholes. So let's get into it. So, let's see. Victorin144 says, if you can watch a man smash your lady, then you are a cuck. Sir, you are incorrect. So he's referring to a cuckold. And a cuckold historically is a man who was being cheated on by his woman. And in today's society, in terms of lifestyle, a cuckold is a man who gets off by his woman having sex with another man, but there's humiliation, there's degradation behind it. Consensual, welcomed humiliation and degradation. The man gets off on his woman talking about another man, and to feel like she's cheating on him, and to feel like the other man is superior and pleases his woman more than he does. He gets off on feeling belittled in that way.
Yeah.
So by definition, sir, you were incorrect. I am not a fucking cuck. That does not make my dick hard. It does not. It does not at all. It just does not. And why are we measuring anything based on that? If you can watch your man smash your lady, then you were a cuck. I don't think I've watched any man smash you.
No, you have not.
I don't intend on watching
a man since I've been with you.
I don't want a man to smash you. We can have some sexual experience. I don't want a man to smash you though. There's a place of smashing, and I'm not interested in it.
Yeah.
So sorry, sir, but you're incorrect.
Sorry, Victor. What was his name?
Victorin144.
Sorry, Victorin144. Whatever.
Live 2008 says, so did she sleep with other men, or did he just get his rocks off? And this is something we deal with all the time.
Yeah.
All the time. How is it just me getting my rocks off because we've only had women? Apparently, they think that we need a man in the situation in order for you to get your rocks off.
Which is really annoying. There's so much bi erasure that happens in these comments.
Explain what that is, bi erasure.
So bi erasure is basically what happens with a bisexual person. Not specifically, but especially with a bisexual person who's in a heterosexual relationship like I am. So it just kind of mutes their bisexuality. Like, oh, well, like, for example, my brother-in-law said to me once, like, oh, you're straight now because I'm with a man. Like, that doesn't make me any less bisexual. It just means that the relationship that I'm in happens to be with a man.
Right.
If you were as dope as you are and you found me and you're a woman, probably worked out the same. So bi erasure is just all about kind of erasing that gay side of you. And a lot of the comments that we get are very much, well, if she doesn't get to sleep with other men, then it's not fair, or she doesn't get her rocks off, so it's just you. And it's just like, no.
You're getting your rocks off just as much as me.
I enjoy eating pussy equally, if not more.
I've seen it. I've seen it on her face.
Likes to eat pussy. And that's just very much overlooked.
Yeah.
Very much overlooked.
It's even frustrating for me, so I can only imagine how frustrating it is for you, because I clearly know your level of interest in women is just as high as mine.
Yeah.
And so to only equate your satisfaction with if you have another penis in the mix, it's just annoying. It's just really frustrating. It's also
really frustrating because it makes it seem like my interest in women is only to please a man, which goes back to just society's whole thing with a woman's purpose is just to aid a man's life and experience. And that's just not true. That's not how I live my life. As much as I do aid and appreciate in your experience, I have my own life and my own mindset and my own sexuality and my own experiences. So to say that it's not an open relationship because there's not other men, I don't fucking want other men. Let's just start there. I'm not interested, and that's fine.
Yeah, and I even have to tell my boys sometimes, especially in the beginning when they were learning that I was in this kind of relationship and that I won and I reached the promised land, because, you know, apparently this is the kind of lifestyle a lot of men would like to lead, and them trying to give me props and having it set up to where there's other women in the mix, but there's not other men, as if like I won and like I got it the way I needed, but like it wasn't catered to what your needs were either. And, you know, they didn't mean any harm, but it's just like, stop giving me props for that. She won too. You won just as much.
Won. And I think that it's hard for people to, like, I had a friend, a really, really close friend of mine, who was just arguing with me about it and saying that it's not fair and it's not equal because there aren't other men involved. And she was neglecting to understand that I'm not interested in other men in that way. Like, and I mean this respectfully. I love men. I don't like men that much. I just don't. I'm not really interested in another man. I have this amazing, sexy man who fulfills me in every fucking way that I can't even think of. And I'm good. I'm just not, there's just nothing that that interests me in having another man in the picture. And it took me 25 years to find you. Not that I was looking for a man at 6 months old, but it took me 25 years to find you, someone who thinks the way that I do, someone who respects women in the way that I need, someone who I trust in every aspect. And for those reasons, I give myself to you in the ways that I do. And to share, even if it's just a physical part of me with another man, I need them to show up equal or better. And if it took me 25 years to find you, I don't think I'm going to find that, on Tuesday. I just don't. And I'm not interested in seeking it. And if they just so happen to come around, we can have the conversation, but it hasn't yet. So I'm fully satisfied with the man that I have. And again, I don't like men that much. So I'm good. Women, I can find a woman on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday, and I'll probably be satisfied with what I find.
And I appreciate you saying that, because I know a lot of times people feel like I coerce you or manipulate you into seeing things my way so that I can have the relationships I want. This is you freely speaking. This is what you want.
Dear audience, in case you need extra understanding, hi, my name is Basirah Rahim. I am a sexologist, a relationships coach, and I am gay. I am very bisexual. I am equally into women as I am into men, and I am not coerced. I like to lick a good pussy. Mm-hmm. As much as I can.
Mm-hmm. Next, we have Brooklyn Tom 16. The word relationship and open are complete opposites. Oh. This is the problem in the Black community. A relationship is defined by two people committed to each other. Open equals single. Stop combining the two. Brooklyn Tom 16. What are we talking about?
Are you single?
I'm not single.
Am I single?
We're not single. You're not single.
Are you open?
I'm very open.
Am I open?
Very open.
Well, there goes that.
It happened.
No.
So what rule book are you operating your life out of that you think the whole world operates out of this shit too? That's your opinion.
I think that's such a big thing that it's like a part of me like kind of hates going through comments. Definitely hates going through comments because there's so much opinion being pushed on us. And, we are putting ourselves out there. This is what happens when you play the game. But it's like, that's how you choose your life. That single or relationship and open do not mix. That is you. We have our own perspective. We have our own lives. We have our own brains. And this works for us. If that doesn't work for you, that means that doesn't work for you. That doesn't mean that this is the way it's supposed to be. And if you're doing it wrong, then we are what? Damned to hell, right. Damned to break up, damned to be unhappy. I'm pretty happy. And I think that's really what it's all about. Are you happy with the relationship that you're choosing? Are you happy with the choices that you're making?
And I'm completely fine with people having opinions and not agreeing with this lifestyle choice for them and saying that you don't agree. Come in the comments, talk about why that doesn't work for you, 100%. But to say this is law, this is the way it should be, and this is wrong, that's just bullshit. It's just complete bullshit.
It's wrong for you.
So,
it's wrong for your lifestyle.
You go ahead. You have your relationships the way that you want. Don't put no Black community anything, because I'm under the opinion that being in the Black community, that we have been taught to think in this way, in this very closed-minded, judgy way, and to operate under this one law that came from somebody that pulled the shit out their ass and decided that it was going to be this way. So as being a Black person in the Black community, since we're going to talk about it, I want to encourage my Black people to expand your mind, to explore more, expand your palette, and try new things, and stop thinking in this one view world that we've been living in.
It's also statistically proven that Black people are the most closed-minded when it comes to sex. And I wasn't surprised by that, but I do find it very interesting. And we do run into that often, especially when we're seeking new partners, that it is the Black community that is the most closed-minded and that has more learning to do when it comes to this space. And there's just so much more pleasure. There's so much more to experience when you just open your mind. And even if it's something that you're like, you know what, I think this is a hard no for me, still do your research, because you may find out, or at least try it out once. Nothing's going to happen. The world's not going to end. Your life isn't going to fall apart if you try it out once and still decide that wasn't for you. Try it out and see, because you never know what experiences might be on the other side.
Yeah, so again, just stop operating under these rules that someone created for you to as a measuring stick of what's okay and what's not okay. Be your own individual self. Try new things. Make your own decisions. Be an adult. And stop thinking like Brooklyn Tom 16. I'm sorry. It's just wrong. It's just wrong. AW says, what if she brought a male into the mix? Honestly, how would he feel? Talk about that next time. Once again, she's not bringing anybody into the mix. I'm not bringing anybody into the mix. We are bringing people into the mix. So it's not I'm bringing women. You got to deal with it. Hopefully you like it. Maybe you won't, but we're going to do things with women because I want to, because I brought them in. No, and it would never be vice versa. You bring some dude in the mix and I got to deal with it and see how I feel about it.
There's no dealing with it. There's talking about it. There's agreeing about it. And it's bring into the mix. You are the mix. I am the mix. We are the mix. There's not, I can't just bring someone to you.
Right.
And if I wanted to bring a man into the mix, and if I was interested in that, and I may grow to that. I would never say that I'm never going to do anything, because who knows? And if that day does come, or when that day comes, I'd hope that you'd be open to it. And I know that you'd be open to it because we've had those conversations. Right. And it's not a matter of only women, hardcore. It's just a matter of what resonates with us right now. Who are we right now? How can we grow right now? And from there, we make our decisions. Right now, I don't feel that way.
Yeah, right. Right now, what feels good to us is exploring with women and those who have vaginas. We love vagina, and that is a priority in our openness.
Yeah.
And we've talked about it in depth, so we can answer the question. When it comes to men, for me personally, I'm 1,000% okay with it. There's many times that the idea crosses my mind and I really get turned on by it. I think about it and it would be dope, but I have parameters around it, because at the end of the day, a lot of dudes ain't shit. Me being a man, I know how we fucking operate. I would not let the vast majority of men that I've run across ever be able to partake in my top shelf of a woman, which is you. They're not deserving of that. Just because you have a dick and you can fuck, that's not enough. It's not enough. What's your intention? Are they going to prioritize you? Or are they worried about getting their dick wet? You know what I'm saying? Are they ego fucking? Or are they actually interested in making genuine connections with both of us? Do they tolerate me just so they can get to you? Or do they fuck with me too? And it's all about us exploring together. And we have found historically that women, because women are much more empathetic than men, they can tap into that, and they care more about the feelings of everyone involved in the situation. So that's some of the reasons why. But aside from that, I'm completely cool with a dude getting into the mix with us, but I gotta really fuck with them. I gotta feel like they are a genuine friend. I gotta feel like, again, I can leave the room for an hour. I can go somewhere for a few hours. Y'all can hang out, and he's not gonna overstep his bounds. He's gonna stay within the confines of the structure that we've established between the three of us. Yeah. And we haven't come across anybody like that yet. But when we do, I'm sure he'll be there and we'll have a story for you. But until then, we're going to keep doing what we're doing. Like, stop pushing. We have to have a man in what we're doing for this to be okay.
In order to validate our open relationship.
Yeah.
Or in order to validate the equity in the relationship.
Yeah. It's just so many variations that we can have. It's just like, that's the only thing that makes it real. If you don't got a dude in the mix, if y'all ain't fucking with a dude, this shit is not real.
She gets a girl, then she gets a guy. She don't want a guy.
We good.
Have you considered that?
We good.
Yeah.
So,
it's just balance.
AW, I hope that answers your question. Matandu Kalota says, she is going to turn into a cold-hearted Chi-Chi after 5 years when she realizes he wasted her time.
Chi-Chi?
Chi-Chi.
Oh.
Mommy? Chi-Chi? Chica. I don't know.
I'm cold-hearted.
Cold-hearted. After you realize I've wasted your time.
What about when you realize I wasted your time?
Wasting my time.
Nobody even considers that.
Wasting my time with all this empty sex that we're having with these women. I wanted something deeper. You wasted my time. Nobody will ever consider that.
Mm-mm.
No. Because again, I'm the only one. It's like I'm getting pussy and you just here for the ride.
Here, just standing here holding lube.
Yeah. Yeah.
Watching the time go by.
Trust me, there's no time wasted. We thoroughly enjoy every moment that we have in all of our experiences. And if 5 years down the line, for some strange reason, we're not together, it won't be from wasting time. It'll just be we've grown apart for some other reason.
Yeah, like I think if there was a list, and I can't even think of 2 things that would be on this list, but there's a list of reasons why we broke up, us having an open relationship would just not be on that list.
That was probably one of the things keeping us together.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Like there's, out of all the things that we've argued about, having our open relationship has never been one of them.
We feel so fulfilled in what we're doing, both of us equally. It's just not even an option.
Yeah.
But if you do ever feel like I am pushing pussy on you, please let me know.
Oh my God, I'm drowning.
I would hate to waste another moment of your time. Chi-chi.
Sorry.
Cunnington Alonzo says she needs to bring a man so they can train her and see if he likes it. That poly life for me has to go both ways for y'all to truly say it's this. Wow, so many problematic statements.
Fuck? Train me.
Let's start there. Let's start there.
Hold on.
Please. I want to start there.
I don't want to give this comment the time of day.
We have to.
Train me.
Number one, 2 men and a woman, that's not a train, that's a threesome.
Oh, like a train, like run a train.
Run a train.
I'm thinking like you have to train me in order to, okay.
No, this is a train.
I'm like, train me.
This is a choo-choo train we talking about.
I understand.
So first off, that's incorrect, Cunningham. A train is at least 4 gentlemen, I would say, at least 4 gentlemen, and the woman would be considered a train. But we're not going to do that.
It's just 2 men and a woman is a threesome.
Yeah. And I may or may not like it depending on the man that's involved. So I may or may not. But the fact that it's a penis won't have any bearing. Just depends on if I fuck with the dude or not. That poly life for me has to go both ways. Incorrect form of the word.
No, it's not.
Poly.
That poly life for you.
No, but that's not even poly life. Having sex with another person is not poly. Again, we spoke about that earlier.
That is not.
That's just being open. Poly life is when you have feelings, there's emotions involved, y'all are building intimacy. Yes. So clearly you're not into poly life, or else you probably would know that. And it goes both ways for you. But yeah, poly life for you. Yes, that was a very important part of the statement.
Yeah. And that's the beautiful thing about poly life. You can design it for you. You can curate it for your desires, for your boundaries. And that is a desire and boundary that does not fit into our dynamic. So you can keep that and your choo-choo train.
Yeah, we're good over here. Thank you, Cunnington.
It sounds like a subway. It's not even a train.
Demore Darling says, sounds like a recipe for chaos. And their comment
I love chaos. I live for chaos. Chaos is actually my favorite word. I like the way it's spelled.
Chaos.
Yeah.
My friend.
I think of like Elmo burning in fire.
One of my friends from elementary school, he named his dog Chaos. He had a Rottweiler, Chaos. He thought it was fun one day to sick chaos on me. This dog, it's like out of a movie. I don't know if you've ever seen The Sandlot, but there's like this crazy dog that the kids were always scared of. It was just very vicious. Mm-hmm. And he would always keep his dog in the basement in this cage just big enough for this big ass Rottweiler. Anytime you open the basement to go downstairs to get a soda, Chaos is going crazy on the cage. It's like perfectly fitting. Of course your dog's name would be Chaos. Just a quick segue. Shout out to Chaos. He's probably dead now, but
yikes.
Yeah.
How chaotic it be.
Shout out to Chaos. We like a little chaos. Sounds like chaos. Sounds like fun for us. AI says they might as well say they're just really good friends with benefits. That's not a relationship. That's a community ship. Do people not know how to control their lust? Are we now supporting animal behavior?
I always support animal behavior.
We're animals.
Yes.
Fucking animals.
I love that primal animalistic fucking. Number one, I think community is beautiful.
Yeah, we don't activate on our animalistic ways enough. We're so ashamed to do that. So yes, we celebrate our animalistic ways.
I would
and we
say that you're my
it.
friend.
We are friends.
Yeah, and there's benefits. And you're my lover.
With benefits and lovers. We got the whole thing.
I don't think you're wrong then. I love community. I love animalistic behavior. you're my friend, there are benefits, and even back to the other one, I fucking love chaos. Y'all are onto something.
But it is a relationship, though. Don't discredit the relationship.
It's not a relationship. I mean, yeah, you're right. It is definitely a relationship.
It's a relationship. Community-ship. I like that.
I like that too.
Word.
That was a good word. I learned that. Thank you.
Yeah, I think they were trying to throw shade, but we appreciate this message.
I actually think, like you were saying earlier about, you know, our possible future poly life with all these goddamn kids you're talking about and these other partners. That's a community ship, and I think that sounds beautiful. And I think like you were saying, like it takes a village to raise a child. I would love for my child to have community and to. I think that I know that I'll be an amazing mother because I'm already an amazing stepmother, and for them to have other mothers and, you know, other perspectives and other siblings, I think would be beautiful. So yes, community ship.
And as you say that, somebody is right now fixing their fingers to get in them comments, talking how crazy we talk, trying to have this kumbaya shit with other people. It sounds crazy. That shit sounds fly to me. I don't care what y'all talking about. That shit sounds good to me. And for you, it don't gotta be that, but just do something different. Let's push society forward. Let's really challenge ourselves as human beings to operate under new systems that we create for ourselves and inspire each other and learn from each other, because I want to learn from other people as well. Like, there's just so much opportunity. Let's not limit things to the traditional anymore. And
if you are the traditional, that's beautiful. You just don't have to put down the non-traditional.
Right. Whatever works for you. That's what it keeps coming down to. Blue Arctober says, he's using her. And she's a lost soul. I am using you for all this pussy.
I love to be used.
You do love to be used. And I do use her consensually.
Yeah.
But I do use her. This is just not one of those cases, though.
No?
No, it's not. I think maybe you're using me to get all this pussy. I don't know. Maybe you're using me, goddammit.
I want to use you tonight.
Yeah. I like to be used.
I like to be used.
We're using each other. You're right.
We're users.
You're right, Blue. I'm using her. But you're not a lost soul.
No.
You are very clear.
I'm very clear.
You are clear on your path right now.
I'm a very... What's the opposite? I'm a found soul.
You're found.
I'm a found soul who likes to be used.
You're an evolving soul.
Mm-hmm.
You're a shining, bright soul.
Ever evolving.
All of it. Thanks, Blue. Lingerie Meets Women. I like that name.
That's pretty cool.
Also, she allows a woman access to her husband, and he does not accept another man access to his wife. Bullshit. This is bullshit. You were right.
We're not married.
That part you were right. We're not married, but that's beside the point. She allows access to her husband. I allow access to my wife if we're going along with this. Yeah. Sounds pretty even to me. And he does not accept another man access to his wife. I don't think we've ever said that. I don't think I've ever told you I don't want you fucking no man.
I don't accept it.
I don't accept it. It's not okay. No. We've mutually discussed many times. It's just not for us right now. So again, people...
If anything, I don't accept it.
Exactly. So again, people, stop putting these limits. Stop being so closed-minded as to what another couple could possibly want for their lives. Stop trying to put everybody into your box based on your rules, based on some bullshit book that you've somehow found about how life's supposed to work and that everybody on this planet is supposed to operate underneath that, and just let people live. We minding our own goddamn business.
Let people live and let people love and let people fuck and let people be used if it's consensual.
That's it. Lingerie Meets Woman. Well, thank you. Let's See TV says, our society is overly sexual and materialistic. That all these channels talk about is sex. We place too much importance on it. And then we want to wonder why relationships are failing and people aren't committed anymore. Shaking my head. Well, I find it interesting that you were on a sex and relationship channel when you commented, complaining about how we're overly sexualized and how we put so much importance on sex and relationships. But why are you on the channel that talks about the sex and relationships in the first place if you don't want to talk about the sex and relationships?
So many other channels.
Just kick rocks, nigga, and put on another channel. Just go on another channel. So that would alleviate that while we over here minding our free business. And we place so much importance on it. Yes, sex is important. Everyone fucks. It keeps humanity going. Sex is important for the vast majority of people.
It's important to us, and that's why we're talking about it, and that's why it matters to us.
It's important to a lot of people. So can we
it's not the only important thing in our lives, but it is a important thing in our life.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
So can we just mind ours and you just mind yours? I think the world would be a much better place if people just minded their own business. Yeah. We wonder why relationships are failing and people aren't committed anymore. Relationships are failing because there's a lot of cheaters. There's a lot of people not communicating their needs. And that's what we're hoping to do here, to reverse all of that.
I'm committed to you. Are you committed to me?
I'm committed.
Oh, well, there goes that then.
There goes that. Shaking my head. Let's see TV. Shaking my head. Oh, this is a good one. This is a good one. O2 Alu says, this is funny. This is a bi chick and a regular dude sharing women, whatever that means. A real open is she can smash other dudes. He ain't with that, LOL. No real man okay with another man giving his girl back shots. I'm gonna let that English go for a minute, but let's focus on what's important here. A real open, what the hell's a regular dude? And what? A bi chick and a regular dude? Yes, I'm a regular dude. I'm not straight. That's what you mean?
Gay people aren't irregular, asshole.
Yeah. Let's start there. Let's move on. A real open relationship, I guess you mean, is she can smash other dudes. Says fucking who? Who? What rules? Where are these rule books? What game are you playing?
Man, there's so many people who just think that it's necessary, that there needs to be equality amongst the sexes, that if you're smashing women because that's the opposite of you, I must be smashing men because that's the opposite of me. But that's not how it has to work.
But it's not even unequal. It's what you deem as equal. What? Just doesn't make sense. And this would also assume that I'm smashing women by myself. I don't even like that term anymore. But smashing women by myself and you're just here observing. Okay.
Allowing.
Yeah. But unless there's another penis involved, this is not a real open relationship.
This is a fake open relationship. We're scamming.
We're scamming.
We're lying. This is fake.
Because there's no dick involved but mine. I'm a selfish
We've
dick.
lied to you this whole time. This isn't an open relationship. This is a closed and slightly open relationship.
He ain't with that. Didn't say I wasn't with it. You didn't ask. Because I never said it. These are comments on episodes that we've been on with other people, and we just talk like how we talk about it now. I've never once said I'm not with it. So can we just stop that, please? No real man is okay with another man giving his girl back shots. That's just false. There are many men, and I know them personally, that love it. They get off on it. They enjoy their women fucking somebody else.
And that doesn't skew their masculinity.
Not at all.
Or their strength.
A lot of them are very manly. Different strokes for different folks. That's it. And that's all our comments for today, folks. Thank you.
The one comment that we actually didn't pull up that I've seen often, I've seen it like at least 3 times, is people are constantly saying like, oh my God, she's so broken, or she's so unhappy.
Yeah, we hear that a lot.
Like as if I'm being held here at gunpoint.
Just beating you into having these threesomes.
Yeah.
Just beating the shit out of you to eat this pussy.
She doesn't know better. Like I'm not broken. I'm actually very confident. I'm so in love with our relationship, so in love with our sex life, and so in love with what we have to the point that we have a fucking podcast about it. And I think that we are definitely outside the norm of things, and it's very rare that you see a open couple talk about the relationship. So there is so much scrutiny that can come up, which is fine. Everybody has their own opinions, but to place onto people that they're broken or that they're this and that they're unhappy, you don't know anything. One, I could be unhappy. This 1000% could just be a facade, but I'm here to tell you that it's not. You know, I think that the sex that I will speak for myself in this moment, that I enjoy and that I get to experience being in this relationship with you, has been so profound and so awakening in my experience as a person, in my growth as a woman, and in my exploration into my femininity. And I'm so happy.
I'm so happy. I've had some of the best sex in my life.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it wouldn't have happened unless you were a part of that experience with me.
Yeah, and we have incredible sexual experiences with other people, and with just each other. Even just my masturbation has been on another level since you've come into my life, and that's special. That's beautiful, and I think it's so invigorating to just have these experiences and to have this amount of pleasure and to have all these hormones and endorphins running through my veins every time that we, have some type of experience together. So thank you for that.
Thank you. And I think also sharing each other with others, at least for me, I can't speak for you, but maybe you can confirm this with me. I think it pushes us to show up even more in our own sex life, knowing that we are sharing each other. So it's like when we're with each other, let's really bring it on a whole nother level than we even do with our partners. It just makes me step my game up and makes me want to be all that I can be as a partner for you. And it's like not competition, but like a little edge that I want to have to make sure, I'm still the top dog around this motherfucker. You know what I'm saying?
You're the top dog in my life.
It keeps it fun. It keeps it interesting.
Yeah.
So I'm grateful for what we have.
I think it's so sexy. I always complain about like being too tired or like pawning you off to the next one so that I can have a break. But it's really sexy when, you can have or we can have a whole night with somebody and then at the end of it, you still want me. And I referenced it before and I will continue because I'm still shocked and amazed that we had this really long sexual experience and it was like 7 a.m. that we got back to the place and that we finished with the sexual encounter. And I'm like, woo, time for bed. He is sexed out. I'm going to get a snacky and get my blankie and go to bed. And you were just like,
I'm going to get my snacky, all right. That's what I'm going to do.
I looked over at you gave me those sexy eyes. I'm like, no. I looked at the time, it said 7:02 a.m. I'm like, no, what do you mean more? I was just like shocked.
It was great too.
It was amazing.
Great.
It was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
I remember we didn't DP that night, no. Never had another D. But we did what's it called? 69.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just so fun.
Mm-hmm.
It was so fun. It's very rare that I've 69 just in my life as a whole. But that was just like so fun. You were able to get just so deep in my throat. And it was just like I had this throatgasm. It was this amazing experience. But it's so flattering and so fulfilling to know that even after we've had a full night of just amazing, messy, fun sex with another person, that at the end of the night, you're still desiring me at such a high level.
Very much so.
Very much so. And it's like after each experience, we kind of feel closer to one another.
Man, it's also my appreciation and gratitude for you to allow these experiences to happen as well. Like I recognize that it's a choice that you're consciously making to share me in that way. So it's also an appreciation that I have for you to be open in this way so that I can have these experiences. So yeah, it's gratitude, Dick.
It's gratitude, Dick.
Yeah.
And I know that you're also sharing me and that you're also being open and vulnerable and allowing me to have my experiences as well. So
absolutely.
Gratitude, pussy.
Mm-hmm. So now let's shift the conversation to talking about figuring out if open relationships are for you and how to bring up the conversation with your partner. If it is something that maybe you're interested in, but you and your partner haven't talked about it yet, but you know for sure, especially after listening to this conversation, this is something that you're interested in exploring for yourself. Let's talk about how to figure out those details.
Yes, I think it's so important. Like one thing that I tell my coaching clients all the time is I think it's so important to get that sensual connection with yourself. Like who are you and what are your needs? And once you figure that out, then we can move forward to your actual relationship that you're either embarking on or trying to strengthen. So one of the first things that I want you to do if you're wanting to expand your relationship or open your relationship is being in an open relationship also means being open with yourself and with your partner. So you have to be really transparent. Is this something that you really want? Is this something that you really desire? Why do you want it? Why do you desire it? Are you just trying to be outside the norm? Are you trying to just appease your partner? Whatever it is, like, really think about it and know those answers for yourself before you even broach the conversation or before you even embark on that journey.
And also, just, are you doing it because it seems like the new cool thing? Everybody's in open relationships these days. Because doing it for that reason is definitely not.
Polyamory is on a peak right now.
It is.
Yeah. Don't get caught up in the fad of it. Don't get even caught up in us. Like, you know, figure it out what it is for you. What is appealing to you? What is not appealing to you? Know those things.
Yeah.
But we do have some prompts to ask yourself. The first one is, why am I seeking this type of relationship? Is it for me or for my partner? So if you're wanting to embark on this open relationship experience, you should ask yourself the following. 1, why am I seeking this type of relationship? Is it for me or for my partner? You should definitely do it for you first and go from there. Definitely don't want to move forward trying to appease your partner or trying to appease somebody outside of yourself, because then it won't resonate with you, and then that can lead to resentment, that can lead to regret, and a number of other negative feelings.
But I will say, I think it's fine to be open to it for your partner. Maybe it's not something that's been on your radar. Maybe it's just something you just haven't thought about seriously before, but your partner brings it up to you. And at first you may be like, no, but being open-minded and really thinking about, is it something that you could be open to? I think that's really healthy. And then maybe y'all might grow to learn together that this is something for you. So keeping that open mind still.
Yeah, that's definitely important. What I was speaking on was more so about, you don't want to act on it specifically to appease somebody else.
Right.
But always keep an open mind. If your partner brings something to your attention, no matter what it is, you should take it seriously and really take time to think about it and see if that's something that you're wanting to fulfill.
Absolutely. Then next we have, what do I hope to gain from this? So what are your goals? What are your reasons to why you think you would want to do it? Is it for the excitement of something new? Is it because you know that you are interested in having multiple partners? Is it because somebody else told you it was great and you said, why not try it yourself? Like, you know, whatever. What is your reasons for wanting to do it? Because just doing it for the sake of doing it because it sounds cool, I don't know if that's just enough.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
The next one is my relationship, this is really important, is my relationship stable and built on a strong foundation? I think a lot of people will want to seek something new and exciting to save a relationship. And I don't think that that's sustainable. You want to make sure that you're built on a strong ground, on a strong foundation. So if something happens, say a boundary is pushed, that you didn't even know the boundary was there until it was pushed. You want to know that your relationship is secure enough and safe enough and built on a strong enough a foundation to contain that jolt, so that you can communicate to that partner like, hey, this thing happened and it really pushed the boundary that I didn't even know was there, and I'm feeling a little uncomfortable. You want to be able to communicate that and know that your partner won't go off or get angry or manipulate the situation in a negative way.
All right, so that speaks on your ability to communicate with each other. So you have to know y'all communication style has to be strong enough to where if shit does hit the fan, y'all can talk it out and be okay at the end of it. But then also too, a close second is having that level of trust that y'all will be able to operate within the parameters that you set, you know, as your boundaries for what's okay. And then trusting that your partner will be able to handle that. Trusting that your partner also loves and cares about you on a high level, and that's not going to change by adding someone into the mix with you. I think that's an important thing, because you can get into a situation where you seeing your partner having a really good time with somebody else, whether it's sexually or just being in their company. And if you're not secure within yourself and trust that your partner's love for you is high, that, you know, it could really breed some strong insecurities with you, and then you can end up resenting them.
Yeah. And you definitely don't want that to happen, and that's something that can be completely preventable. So just stay honest and stay communicating.
Next we have, how do I feel about the thought of my partner having an emotionally or physically intimate relationship with someone else? Kind of seems like a given, but did you really ask yourself, how do you really feel about that? Is it something that you kind of will deal with because it comes part of the territory? Or is it something that you're actually genuinely interested in them experiencing just because that's an experience to have and you just want them to be happy and to be able to explore in that way. I think being able to distinguish your why and how you will feel about that is very important. And if you find that you have some hangups around it and you know that might signify to you that you're just not ready to move forward in that, it might be healthy conversation that you can have. Hey, you know, I really been really sitting down and seriously considering us opening things up, you know, but this is some stuff that's been coming up for me. Maybe you can communicate that to your partner and then them let you know and reassure you, hey, you know, you don't have anything to worry about when it comes to this and that. I'm completely locked into what we're doing, and I'm here and you have nothing to worry about. That could really help strengthen things. I think hearing that from your partner and not just holding it in, and feeling your feelings alone.
Yeah, it's important to really visualize what that could look like, whether it's visualizing them actually being intimate with somebody else or visualizing the feelings that may come up for you. I think it can really help shift your understanding of what may actually occur. I think a lot of people can go into a situation like, I feel comfortable with me having these experiences, but I don't feel comfortable with my partner having these experiences.
Right.
And it may seem really selfish, but that's also really real. Like, people really, and they feel comfortable with themselves doing it because they know themselves, they know their mindset, they know their thought process behind it. And you can never know for sure about somebody else's brain.
Right.
So I do understand that thought, but also take a moment to recognize how selfish that is and how limiting that can be for your partner, and put yourself in their shoes and vice versa, so that everybody can have a fulfilling experience. And it can be fulfilling if everyone's communicating and being really honest about it.
Right.
The next one is, another question that you need to ask yourself is, are you avoiding commitment? Am I avoiding commitment in this situation? And is that the reason that I want to have an open relationship? Because with an open relationship, it can be that you're committing yourself to multiple people. It can be that you're not fully committing to anybody and that you are just having this access. So ask yourself, is this a scapegoat for you? Is this you trying to have your cake and eat it too, but not trying to bake the cake at all? What is happening here, and what does commitment really look like for you? How do you define that? How do you define love? How do you define loyalty? How do you define open? Define those things for yourself so that you can really see where you land with it, where you stand with it, and how you can add to this experience for yourself and for whoever else you are doing it with.
I just want to throw one other thing to consider, a little off track from this, but understand that it's much easier to delve into an open relationship when you're newer in your relationship. So if, you know, in your first year or so, it's a lot easier to explore these alternative styles of doing things as opposed to when you've been in 5, 6, 7, 10 years. It's a lot harder. There's a lot more feelings involved. You're used to doing things a certain way. So it's a lot more challenging to open things up. Not to say that it's not possible, but understand you're going to have a lot more conversations, and it may take a lot longer for y'all to both get to the place where you are comfortable with that, just because, you know, time is a factor in it. So just also know where you are in your relationship and give yourself a little grace if it does take a little while. I do remember with one of the couples that I met one time at a party, one of the dudes, he just kept it real with me and kind of like laid out their timeline and how they were in a monogamous relationship for quite some years. And then if you would have asked him in the first 5 to 7 years, he'd be like, fuck no, I'm not letting nobody else have sex with my wife. But just over time and them evolving and maybe them just being with just each other for so long, the interest grew to a point where, you know, he was casually over here talking to me about this while my boy is over there, you know, going in with his wife. You know, so just over time, it evolved to that place too. So, you know, just to throw that out there, that this can be something that maybe right now you're not interested in, but, you know, several years from now, just because y'all been together for some time and you want to try some new things, it might be an option. So I just want to throw that out there too.
Yeah, just allowing yourself space to evolve.
Yeah, absolutely. And I actually wrote that down, that again, there's no right or wrong way to do this. There's no set rules. Once you've decided on something, you don't have to stay there for the sake of staying there because you told your partner that this is what you were going to do. There's a lot of ebbs and flows within this. You can pick up an open relationship. You can put it down at any time. Like even right now, we're not really active like how we were even last summer. Right now is more of a season for us and focusing on us strengthening our relationship and building this podcast. We still do have partners. It's not like we completely shut it off. And we're still definitely very open to other partners, but it's not something we're really pursuing hard like that.
Yeah.
But that season we'll be back very soon. But just allowing yourself flexibility to flow within and out of it relieves a lot of pressure.
Yeah, and you might just not be in the mood for it, or you might just not have the bandwidth for it. So yeah, just allowing yourself space to just grow and evolve and go within, even if that's what's needed.
Yeah.
Another thing to ask yourself is, am I a jealous person?
Mm-hmm.
I think that's something that people really don't consider. Like, what does jealousy look like for me? How do I feel when I walk in and I just see my spouse talking to someone of the opposite sex or the same sex or whatever it is? What feelings are coming up for me? And being honest about that and being real with that. And how do you feel about that answer? Are you a jealous person and are you okay with that? Are you a jealous person and are you ashamed of that? What's coming up for you there and why? What is making you jealous? What is making you... Because usually with jealousy, there is a layer of insecurity that is not being understood or tackled or faced. So how can we pull that layer back and really make ourselves feel secure in this relationship?
Yeah, I could definitely say for myself, like I've experienced jealousy with you, not to a place where it's really unhealthy or anything, because I think there is levels to jealousy. I think there is some healthy, normal human jealousy that just occurs, and then there's definitely jealousy where it's just not, there's no reason for it to be at that level. So yeah, I've had a little bit of jealousy with just seeing other partners make you happy, or there might be time where you're spending with them that I may have wanted you to spend it with me. Or just things like that, or like somebody eating your pussy really good, or knowing how to use a toy on you in a way that I haven't known how to do, and it just just different things that have come. So I know that jealousy is something I have experienced. It's probably something that I will experience again, but I know how to keep it in a proper place where I can feel it, I can recognize where it comes from, and then it can just dissipate.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of our partners and I, we made this joke, like when we'd see each other with someone new or just like flirting in some type of way or whatever it is. And we called it just healthy jealousy. And we'll be like, okay, I had a moment of healthy jealousy where like some things were coming up. But really able to acknowledge like it wasn't in an unhealthy way. Or even coming up, like I remember one time they went on this like amazing vacation and we were supposed to go and we couldn't for like a number of reasons. And I told them I was having a lot of unhealthy jealousy here. And they were like, I felt that and I didn't really know what to do with it, but I'm glad you're bringing it up. And I think it's important to highlight it and not to put shame on someone else, but to acknowledge it. Like, this is what I'm feeling right now, and these are the reasons why. And 9 times out of 10, it has really nothing to do with that other partner and everything to do with yourself.
Yeah, and I think when it was its strongest, or like even times when I'll be in like heavy consideration of bringing men into the mix, the times where it's been more challenging for me to be open to that was times where we were going through really rough patches. Yeah. Where it's like, I couldn't fathom you being, especially with another man, when a lot of our DS dynamic stuff is dealing with masculine energy. I just couldn't fathom you being involved with other masculine energy when you're not even able to be in the pocket, in a good pocket with the masculine energy that you already have with me. So it's hard for me to even think about you being with somebody else in that way when we're not good. So it can breed insecurities. But again, if you're able to really dissect and analyze it properly, you can see like it's not that there's a problem, but it is highlighting things that you need to think about and focus on. So I've kind of been learning how to really read jealousy when it comes up.
Yeah, no, same.
Yeah. And then what are your boundaries? Everyone has boundaries and they should always be respected 100% of the time. So when negotiating with your partner on how it's going to look for y'all when y'all do go and venture out into this open world, lay out what your boundaries are. Do not hold back. Lay out exactly what you feel comfortable with and what you don't feel comfortable with. Don't close certain things off, or don't not share certain things with your partner because you don't want them to be upset with you or disappointed, or you feel like you're messing up the fun. No, lay it all out there and stay strong to your boundaries, because you don't want to be in a situation where you've bent your boundaries for your partner. Y'all go ahead and do something that you're really not comfortable with, and then you end up resenting them, and it causes deeper issues in your relationship weeks and months and years down the line, and they don't even know what the hell they did wrong because you didn't stay firm into your boundaries.
It also just like, when you don't respect your boundaries, you're not respecting yourself. So then you get into insecurities with your own being, and then you just start lashing out in just many different ways that affects not only your intimate relationship, but other relationships as well. And it's just not a good thing. So yeah, respect your boundaries and be honest with them. And the last thing, are you seeking it because of fear of intimacy? So you're afraid this goes into commitment as well, which we mentioned earlier, but intimacy is just very different. Are you afraid to be vulnerable? Are you afraid to go to that intimate parts of yourself and share that with someone else and show that to someone else? Really acknowledging that and making sure that you're capable of it before you seek any type of relationship, whether it's an open relationship, a monogamous relationship, or anything in between. What is your capacity? What are you able to really bring to the table? What are you really needing to go within and figure out for yourself so that you can show up fully for somebody else or someone else's? And if you're looking for a deeper understanding of yourself and your relationship, and you're wanting to do a deep dive in that, you can come to me for relationship coaching and see how you can connect to your sensual self and how you can connect to your sexual self so that you can amplify that and be better for yourself and your partner and your relationship as you try to expand and see if an open relationship is good for you and your partner.
And another random tip thing to think about that I just thought of, make sure you're in a position financially to be able to manage all of this. If you're the leader in your relationship, and you're the one responsible for, paying for dates and buying gifts, and, holidays come around and birthdays come around and all that, these things can be a little pricey. Maybe you got to buy some new toys. You want to buy some for your main partner. You want to buy some for your additional partners. These things can cost some money. So just make sure you're in a position financially to be able to hold that down, because it can get a little pricey.
It can get a little.
Yeah, just throw that there. Another question that we get all the time is, where can we go to find these new partners as we do open up our relationship? And 100% of the time, we always recommend our favorite app, which is Field. We've been on Field now for a little over a year, and it's been great. We've had really, really amazing relationships that have formed and evolved through Field. Even just, situations that have been one night situations also, you can find everything under the sun there. And so if you're looking for any alternative style relationship structures, if you're looking for friendships, if you're looking for community, or whatever the case is, hop on Field. You can find the link to Field in our link tree on our Instagram, so you can get access to that. Definitely check out Field. It's growing and growing by the day, and you'll probably find us on there.
Absolutely. Find us on Field. You can also check it out in our episode description.
Yeah, absolutely. Check us out. So with that being said, we touched on a lot today. I hope you had your pen and paper and your notebooks. And I hope through this conversation, you're very clear on what's possible for you in your open relationships. I hope you got a little insight into what we do, and stay tuned for updates as our relationship continues to evolve. Maybe we will have that penis sooner or later. I know y'all are all rooting for it. So we'll keep you posted on, just how things evolve with us. Even if we start getting into more poly-style relationships and get into things more serious, maybe we'll have some guests on, people that, we date. There's a lot of options available. So thank you once again for tuning in to another episode of Both Sides of the Bed. Make sure you continue to share, continue to comment. We love in the comments. Appreciate y'all engaging with us. It's really, really been inspiring and motivating seeing how many people have been benefiting from the content. Yeah. It was one thing to want to get some comments, but then we actually started getting comments from random strangers. It's amazing. It's amazing. It feels so good to know in some way, shape, or form we are helping y'all in y'all relationships. Oh, real quick, we just got our stats back from our pod. And we just want to do a quick shout out or two real quick. So shout out to the 91 countries that we are in. We are Globetrotters. Shout out to Canada. Shout out to Pakistan. Shout out to the United Kingdom and South Africa for downloading the podcast, especially Pakistan. I had no idea we'd be in Pakistan. Shout out to y'all. Y'all the real OG. Yo, shout out to y'all for the love and support that we're growing out there. Also, we want to shout out to Atlanta. We didn't even know we was popping out in Atlanta, but thank y'all for all the downloads, all the support. Of course, we got Brooklyn holding things down. That's where we stay. Chicago, Chi-Town, thank you. We didn't even know if we was out there either. Shout outs to Chicago. And also shout out to Philly for being the biggest cities that we're in right now. Yeah. We will continue to grow. We will continue to build this thing. And then when we hop on tour, we will be coming to a city near you.
So exciting.
So make sure that you continue to share this content with somebody that you know can benefit from it. Please keep the comments coming. Please keep engaging with us. Keep letting us know how you feel about what we're putting out, anything that y'all want to hear us talk about. You can follow us on all your podcast streaming platforms and on YouTube at Both Sides of the Bed. Oh, please make sure if you're on a podcast platform right now, please take a second after this video and leave us a comment. Leave us a review. It really helps us grow this thing. Also, make sure that you follow B for Be Intimate. She has an amazing coaching business. Please tell them about it.
Yes, if you're looking to deep dive into your relationship, if you're looking to deep dive into your sensual relationship with yourself, check me out at be-intimate.com. That is in our link tree. That will also be in our episode description. And let's get some coaching going.
Absolutely. So with that being said, thank you again for tuning in to another episode of Both Sides of the Bed. Stay tuned for the sexy.
Stay tuned for the sexy.